into the live stream and then I'll mod you. I'm going to tweet about this on my Twitter. Because no one's here yet.
Well, it doesn't seem like you're live.
I am.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, one person's here. Hi.
Hi, one person.
They immediately leave. Oh. Can you go to the live and then...
I'm trying to.
On middle podcast. Come hang.
It says there's 2 people
Ouch.
watching.
Oh, wow. Don't leave. It's going to get
Hello. Good. Can you mod me?
Did somebody say hello?
No,
oh, hi. I'm one person. Hello. Oh, my God. I'm so excited.
You mod me?
I don't see you.
That might have gotten.
Oh, wait. There we go.
Review. Oh, okay.
No, I got you. I'll make you a mod.
Hi.
Guess. Hi, guys.
Oh, this is a little wiggly, huh?
Well, because you're like, it's elevated right now.
Hi, Kelsey and Male 15. How are you guys today?
Hi.
This is probably the smallest live stream you've ever done, huh?
No, I've definitely, when I was first starting out.
We're doing good.
We're doing amazing. We're excited for this book club.
Yeah. Hannah just finished.
Literally 20 minutes before the stream.
The parts of the books.
I finished the book. Hi, Megan.
Hi.
How are you?
We're getting some more people now. There's 10 people in.
I tweeted about it. Maybe should I post on Instagram too so people can like
Sure. But I mean, if people didn't read the book, you know.
Yeah, but like that's true, I guess. The book is really good though. So, I'm getting way more into it.
Who actually read the book? Did you guys actually read?
It's okay if you didn't. We're not gonna like teacher you.
Yeah. I figure for this first one anyways, it'll be kind of informal just because, you know, there's only 2,000 subscribers, so.
What are people saying?
Maeve says, benefits of book club actually get me to start the book. You're on chapter 12, Kelsey?
Are you joking?
I have to say, though, at the end, it took me, like, I almost went ahead.
I thought it was supposed to be 3 chapters.
We were kind of unclear on that.
It's not our fault. It's not your fault that you got that messed up. Like, we screwed that up.
We went up to chapter 5.
Which is a good thing we did, because chapter 5 is, like, the most intense.
That's right. We're, like, the first
big thing. Yeah. It was hard not to keep going. Even though I finished 20 minutes ago, and I was like, this is really good. I had trouble getting into it. I felt like the first couple of chapters were a little bit, like, they were just a lot of information.
The first couple chapters, and I think you guys would probably... Megan says, no, did not read the book. The book's still on its way in the mail. I just like listening to you. Well, thank you, Megan. The first couple chapters were like info dump.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They definitely were.
But I have to say that's pretty typical with like fantasy books, is because like every author has their own like lore and world setting, and they're just like, here's what you need to know to start.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Agree. Once you got into it, though, it was actually really good. I liked it. The chapter 5 cliffhanger is like what I'm like.
It seemed like there was a lot of...
I didn't read it. I haven't had time with still working and kids at home, just here to support you too. You guys are so nice. Stop. Let's see. Animal Crossing and listening along. Oh, I love that.
That's exactly what I did. I listened to the whole thing while I was fishing.
Haven't even read anything but preschool workshops to homes. Oh, wow. What book is it again? You want to tell them the name of the book?
It is...
I don't remember the name.
The Crescent City is the...
Oh, wait,
it's like
somebody's
the House
talking
of
about the
Glass and Blood.
I have a feeling that Danica was hiding a lot from Bryce and that we might not know about yet. Something about the way Bryce puts her up on a pedestal doesn't sit right with me. That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah, I agree. That's a little... Okay, so it's called The House of Earth and Blood, and it's in the Crescent City trilogy.
It's really good.
By Sarah J. Maas. Who I haven't read or even really heard of her before, but...
Oh, Kelsey's on it. Kelsey said, also convinced Bryce's whole party girl persona is an act, and she's a lot more clever than she's letting on.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't know if she's necessarily a trustworthy narrator yet. You know
what I mean?
I
don't think so either.
She has some stuff good because, like, the whole way that things ended with the really rich boyfriend, I was like super sus about. Like I was. Am I the only one?
No, you're right.
I feel like I was super sus about it because it was so random. She was just like, okay, bye. Like, guess this is the day. Like.
Maeve says Sarah J. Maas, whatever, is huge in the young adult fiction world. See, when we were picking the book, it said that this was her first like adult fiction.
And you know what's funny? I can tell Not to be shady, but
Really?
I can tell that she writes mostly young adult stuff because there still is that undertone of like young adult writing to it. I'm a huge Sarah J. Maas fan, and her books are always very info dumpy in the beginning, but I promise it gets better and makes sense. Love you guys. Aw,
I mean, I'm already into it in book 5.
I am too, honestly.
But I read enough fantasy and play enough games and stuff that like I can process that information. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when they were listing the house and all that's like all the houses and stuff, I was like, check, check, check. You know what I mean? Like it didn't hold me up at all.
Somebody said, is Danica a werewolf all the time, or can she transform into a human?
So I don't think I think she's technically considered a shifter, which I guess you can think like is sort of like a werewolf, but they literally transform into like whole ass animals, not just like a werewolf. So like they can shift back and forth. And I think Mal said he only read a chapter. I'm assuming you're a male because your name is Mal. Sorry, but Mal said that they read to chapter 3. You see some other shifters, like there's some panther shifters, and they talk about like lions and stuff. So I think they're fully changing into like animals, which I think is pretty cool.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah.
Did you have any questions?
Well, I was just going to say, going back to your trustworthy narrator thing, I totally agree with that because we know more about every other character than we do about the narrator.
I feel like something's going to come.
Yeah, like there's these casual references to, you know, her searching for the horn, and which, by the way, major Wheel of Time flashbacks anytime I hear someone talking about searching for the horn. But
Kelsey said, were you guys caught off guard by the ending of chapter 5? So I just read it. I'm fresh off reading chapter 5, and I took out Oliver while I was listening to it, and I heard everything go down. I don't want to spoil it too much because I know some people haven't read all of it, but I heard everything that happened, and I literally screamed into the door to Charles. I was like, what? I was like, are you kidding? So I was very surprised, but you said
unfortunately I wasn't. Just because when we were like on stream picking the book, I read like the little blurb about the book, and it says right in the blurb, her wolf pack male, you may want to cover your ears, but her wolf pack is, you know, gets slaughtered. And the whole premise of the book is trying to solve that. So like I knew that was going to happen just because it told me like when I was reading the description on Audible, but
Kelsey also says, what do you guys think is up with the Briggs guy?
Which is he the rich guy? That's the rich guy. You know, I think he's just going to be an interesting side character.
I would agree.
Because there's this kind of trope of like the asshole who is like still an ally. And for some reason, they're always rich. It's always like some rich asshole that like they're doubt-worthy ally. But I think he's going to kind of fill that role. And also, I think we needed a human.
We needed one.
Yeah. Because here's the thing, too. In a book like this, where pretty much everyone has superpowers, like you can't just have like a human character that does nothing. So it's like, here's a human character, but he's rich. Yeah. So he has like, you know, that's his superpower is money.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. This is not, if you don't want spoilers, just like leave.
Oh, wait. Briggs is the rebel. Reed is the rich guy.
Briggs is okay. Yeah,
that makes more sense.
So
I get them confused. I'm very bad with names and
early
books.
Prediction.
Okay.
Briggs is going to be throughout like the first book, the bad guy, but then near the end of the first book, or if there's another one, I think there's supposed to be 3.
I think there is.
In the next one, he's going to be like, it's going to be revealed that, he actually was fighting for the good guys all along, and he's a good guy.
Okay.
So
I can see that.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that.
I'm getting some major, like, everything is not as it seems tropes. Why do you think Briggs was in jail, or did I miss it? So they say that he's in jail because he was illustrating like a bunch of bombings, and then they
caught them
doing it. And then the pack of devils, is that what they were called?
Yes.
The devils, the wolf pack that Danica was part of, captured him and like caught him in the act of trying to blow up a club. So
I would agree. I don't think he's necessarily as evil as we think, though.
Teddy Production says, thoughts on Sarah J. Maas as an author? I know some people either hate her or love her in the BookTube community. You know, we were getting a lot of comments on the podcast where we picked that saying, she's a terrible author.
Yeah.
I don't think she's bad. I just think she's kind of pop. You know what I mean? She's got that like pop fiction.
I would agree. I don't think these books are going to be particularly the most like unique things we've ever read, but I think they're going to be very enjoyable to like, we listen to our books, but I think they're going to be very enjoyable to listen to. And I think it's going to be like a fun story, but I don't think there's going to be like major plot twists that we never would have seen coming or like the most unique thing.
Yeah. But you know what? Not every book needs to be like the Wheel of Time. You know, like not every book needs to be some high fantasy chronicle, you know, like I get enough of that with Brandon Sanderson. Like I'm down for some. Plus, like if you think about it, I bet you if Harry Potter, if J.K. Rowling wrote her books today, she would probably get the same reaction as a lot of these young adult writers get. Yeah. But just because she did it first, and it was still, I mean, I could be wrong because I was 3 when the book came out, but like I don't think pop adult fiction was really a big, or like pop teen fiction was really a big genre until Harry Potter and some earlier books kind of opened it up.
It might have been, because I can think back to like, I guess it really wasn't.
Because do you know any popular like teen fiction books before?
Well, like Magic Tree House.
But that's not for teens. I mean, that was like a kid's book.
Was it? I feel like I read it in like middle school, some of the Magic Tree House
That was like young.
Was it? Am I misremembering?
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's good so far though. I'm a fan. He has some questions pulled up.
We've never done a book club before. So I had to look up book club questions. So Mel says her nickname is for Milena. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So
it's pronounced by syllable and a space. Oh, cool.
Oh, okay. So what did you guys like best about this book?
Do you want to start and then I'll go?
So I'll go first. I like books that have like deep lore that I can really dive into. So I actually like the fact that it opened up with like that knowledge dump, and it was like, hey, here's all this stuff you need to know, but we will only casually reference it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I like books that are complex in that way. And I think it's because I write so much for like D&D campaigns that I take like a lot of inspiration from that.
Yeah.
So I like having that, you know, deep lore.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think, I love books with like female characters who are the leads. I just typically like them more. And I like so far that it's kind of been like about, like there's this ditzy side to, the main character is not Danica. It's the narrator. What is her name? Bryn?
I honestly can't remember.
Neither can I, but I really like that the main character, her whole,
Bryce.
Thank you. I knew it was something with a B. I really like that Bryce is like when she was talking about going out for the day or whatever, it's like, it's her main focus is to be strong. Like everything she does and everything she wears and everything is to protect herself and to be like strong. And I think her as a character is going to be really, really interesting. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Kelsey C says, I like how our main character isn't a Mary Sue and is deeply flawed. It makes her relatable, and you just know that she has so much depth in layers that we'll see further on.
I agree.
Yeah, I like that too. I mean, it's a little, I can't relate as much, obviously, because I never had a party girl phase. Like, I did. You know what I mean?
I related to that party girl phase.
But like, I like that she's a more realistic character than like, you know.
That's pretty much how it goes with party girl phase, though, is like you get dumped, you call your friends, you meet.
Yeah.
You know, it goes that way.
Kelsey C says, also, I have read all of SJM's books, and there actually tend to be a lot of surprising plot twists, character development. Perfect. That's what I like. I like plot twists.
Neil also said, I feel like there will be a lot of character development, and I like how there are many personalities. I would agree with that too. I like that there's a lot.
See, I'll be interested to see if they develop the characters as deeply as she did with the Wolf Pack. Because I feel like part of the reason we got such an in-depth look at like every member of the Wolf Pack was so that we felt it more when they died. You know what I mean? So I'll be interested to see if she actually does that for every character, if that was just kind of like a plot hook.
I also think she did that though, because for that reason too, but also I think it's going to come into play later. I feel like there's going to be flashbacks. I don't know if I'm wrong, but I feel like we're going to get flashbacks in this book to like different things. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we're going to get other writings with like Bianca and things like that.
Good. Magic Tree House, Junie B. Jones, Goosebumps. Yeah. But
tween, that's a better word.
Yeah,
they weren't like
true.
teen, they were like tweeny books. But Harry Potter was supposed to be a kid's book initially. So,
yeah.
You know. Do you want to do
you want another question?
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right.
Thank you for everybody who's like participating. We appreciate it.
We actually more people than I thought.
Yeah, we were. I was like, be prepared for like 3 people to be here. Like,
okay. So what did we? Okay, here's the opposite. What did we like least about the book?
I didn't like the first couple of chapters just because I had a hard time getting into it.
You didn't like.
I didn't like the info. I never like that though. That's the hardest part I have with fantasy is getting past the info dump. Like I don't take as much pleasure in reading about that stuff as you do. I kind of just want to be like, okay, here it is, and like I care more about the story. But I get why you like it. But for me, it's like I care about the story.
She said it was very wordy / info dump.
Yes, it was very wordy in the beginning, and I just felt like it didn't need to be. You guys should read Keeper of the Lost Cities.
Maybe
put it on the list.
Oh, that's something we want to mention too. Is what? So when we do the next book club, the book, like obviously we're gonna finish this book.
Yeah, it's gonna.
But like when we do the next book, we'll do like a poll or something because we kind of just picked one on like a whim, and I think it's a good book, you know. But
we'll do a poll.
I don't really have a super least favorite part. Like I kind of liked it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The first chapter was a little bit disorienting just because it was like a lot all at once, which I don't really mind honestly, but also something that has always bothered me about her writing is she refers to everyone as male female.
Oh,
you know, I never even noticed that.
That's a great criticism though.
That's true.
I really like that one.
That's true. Maybe, who knows, maybe she'll surprise you with this one.
Who does the writing where is it Sanderson that does that, or who wrote Sufficiently Advanced Magic? Because that writer did a fantastic job of making
I'm so bad at remembering authors.
Like the main character was asexual. They had
Andrew Rowe.
They had people who, you know, identified as they, them, and they talked about how that was like important. And I thought that was so cool to see in fantasy, you know.
N.K. Nemson.
Tara's here. Go check out Tara's video of the Smoky
she just
Glow
released
palette.
the video today on the Smoky Glow palette.
I love you. Thank you.
Also, there's a lot of purring.
Swearing. Oh wait, purring?
I don't know what that means.
Also way too much swearing from someone who has a potty mouth.
Yeah, there's a lot of swearing.
I also think there is a lot of talk about like sex, which I don't really mind, but I also think it felt like they were just talking about it to be like, this is an adult book. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got that. I got that impression.
That's the vibe I got, was her trying to be like, oh, because I get that it's like her first time writing a real adult book, but it felt like she was just throwing in the sex stuff to be like, and they're adults who have sex. Yeah. And it's like, okay. It didn't feel like it added anything. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I kind of was getting those vibes too.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know. It doesn't bother me too much.
No.
I've read some pretty cringy books in regards to like sex and, you know, that sort of stuff. So this one isn't too bad compared to some stuff.
Yeah.
SJM's sex scenes are notoriously cringy too. Well,
I believe that.
I'm sure we'll see that soon.
But I think it's not something that's going to make me not like the book. It's more just that I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like I was just like, we get it.
I don't really like sex scenes in general in books.
It's not my favorite thing.
It's not. I mean, sex dialogue in general is cringy. Oh man.
As what? Velvet wrapped steel.
Ooh, I don't like that.
I'm like uncomfortable. Okay. Yeah. Well, I can't wait till we can talk about that one because that's going to be a hoot. Yeah. I can never forget the moment where she wrote "fairy fucking in the sky." What?
I don't know the author enough to know what you're talking about.
I wish we knew more about this author because she sounds insane. I love it.
All right. So, number 4 here? Which characters did we like best? Which character do you think you liked best?
I liked Bianca a lot.
Who was Bianca?
The best friend.
Danica.
Fuck. I'm so bad with book names. He can attest to this. Yeah. I'm same thing with like TV shows. I never know people's names. I liked Danica. Right? Yes, Danica. Yeah. Like the race car driver. I like Danica. I thought she was dope. I really liked her. And I also liked the little wolf boy that she was going to go on a date with. Colin. I think it was Colin. No, I think it was Colin. Or Connor. Connor, Cole.
I thought it was Cole.
Whichever one. I liked him. Colin. He seemed very sweet. Yeah. And I was mostly, when that whole thing happened where all of them died, I was very sad that they were not going to get to go on a date because I was like already shipping them. So it like stung a little bit more.
I think my favorite character right now, I kind of like the, and they don't really talk about her too much, but the dancer. the dancer friend.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why. She just seems interesting to me.
Okay. I can respect
I tend to like the shy but like badass characters, and I think that's the vibe that we're gonna get.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to flashbacks. I feel like I feel like there has to be flashbacks because we don't know enough lore about the world yet.
Mail also said, I have mixed feelings about Connor, but I like Danica. And this is Kelsey. Says, I like Danica best, but I'm pretty positive she'll have a dark side that will come to light. I can agree with that. And then Michaela said, we're reading from far away, so I'm sorry if I say anything wrong, but I've never been a fan of Sarah J. Maas. I thought her characters were just boring and there were too many sex smut scenes.
Yeah, I will say for 5 chapters, there was a lot of sex stuff pushed in there.
Yeah.
But I think
seemingly no reason.
Yeah. That could just be for like setting the tone of like, this is an adult book.
That's
you know what I mean?
It was.
Because I feel like this author is just trying to like distinguish their previous work from their work.
Yeah.
You know, from this. You got another question?
Mm-hmm. So lay it on me.
Well, a lot of these are for like if you finish the book.
Well, just say it, I guess.
Which place in the book would you like most to visit?
That was a bad question to pick.
Michaela said, thank you for pronouncing my name right. It is rarely ever said correctly.
We have a friend who spells it that way.
Spelled exactly the same way.
Yeah.
So she's a YouTube channel, isn't she?
No, she just does Instagram.
Oh.
Fair Finds and Alabaster.
Yeah.
Oh no, I think she changed it to something else now. Michaela, she's my friend. I really like her.
Yeah. So what place would you most like to visit?
There's been no scenes.
Yeah, sure there has.
That restaurant that was super bougie and expensive with all the classist things. I liked that scene and I thought they did a good job describing the restaurant.
Kelsey says the club they were dancing at. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like the idea of like there's different like quarters, you know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
And there's different like, so I think
classes.
like different parts of the city that they talked about. And the one I think I'm the most excited to learn about is like the meat market. Because I can almost guarantee that's not going to be like, you know what I mean? Because they've already talked about there being like strip clubs. Oh, maybe somebody can help me out with this. So at a bunch of times in the book, they talk about predators in the city. Like there's predators hunting. So do you think she literally means like there's predatory fae creatures that are like hunting other fae creatures or what? Because that was kind of confusing to me. I don't know if anybody knows the answer.
I didn't know the answer. I didn't really think about it.
Because they were talking about like how she learned to use guns. So Kelsey says that's what she thinks too. Okay. Yeah. That will be interesting because I kind of like I like books that have societies that have like non-typical like cultural norms. So I think it would be cool to see a book where like predation, like, you know, carnivores eating not carnivores is like a normal part of society. That could be interesting.
All right.
We're up to 26. We got a couple more.
Oh my God. Hi. Thanks for tuning in.
Let's see. What do you think of the book's title?
I don't really care.
I'm interested. So it was The House of Earth and Blood, right?
Kelsey, I think.
If you look at the map, it's called the Bones
Quarters.
See, we both have the Audible version, but I think usually if there's a map, they include it in like an additional resources, like in the book that you can see on Audible.
Yeah.
So I'll have to look at that. I didn't even look.
Maeve also said, did you get the vibe that somehow the war they've mentioned caused the death of the missing god person?
Yeah,
I did too.
I'm more interested by that war because they said like in I forget if the language she used was like the northern or the higher reaches of whatever, but I was confused. I was like, I wonder what they mean by like, if they mean literally northern, like on a map, or let me pull up that map right now.
Yeah. Okay.
You can talk. The Asteri. Yeah. I think the Asteri are like gods, right?
Yeah, that's the vibe I got. That's the problem with the info dump is I feel like because I got bored, I missed a couple of different things. You know what I mean? Stuff like that's not
Crescent
my
City
favorite.
book map.
Well, there's a lot of booktubers covering this one.
Are we booktubers now?
What do you think about Jessica? Was Jessica the friend?
I think she wasn't she like the fairy, the fire.
Wasn't she the one who she called?
Refresh our memory who Jessica is.
To be honest, I always felt like Sarah J. Maas young adult books are more fitted into the adult category because of the smut scenes, since young adult is directed for younger girls. So seeing Sarah book there is why. Oh, okay. She's Bryce's boss. Oh, the 400-year-old sorceress. Bryce's boss?
I'm just looking at a map now. Oh, this is kind of cool. Is this the right map?
It might be.
No, I don't think it is. This is from another one of her books.
I get the vibe that Jessica's going to be a key player. Do you also get that vibe?
Yeah, because they wouldn't just talk about her so much if she wasn't.
That's important. What I'm saying. Like, it feels like she's going to be... If you don't have opinions, that's okay. Yeah, I'm not sure I have a super strong opinion yet, but I also feel like she's going to be a key player. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's got to be important, otherwise they wouldn't mention her.
That's
so
what
much.
that's what
you know what I mean? Especially
Did you
they
find
say
the map you're looking for.
Well, there's a couple different maps. I don't know which ones are which. I'm looking at the Crescent City map right now, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
The old square was the old square was another area I thought was cool. Just like how they described it.
Yeah.
But
I thought that restaurant sounded interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. What you got anything else to ask? I feel like we're not deep enough. Well, yeah, but these are more for like if we finish the book.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Well, one of them was like, did this book elicit any emotion from you?
Not really.
Do you feel like
interest? I'm curious as to what's coming.
I feel like the response that I got was like, I'm freaking out.
Yeah, I really want to read what happens after chapter 5.
I'm excited to start chapter 6 as soon as we're done with this, because I think it's going to be really, really interesting to see what happens. Are we supposed to know who the angel was?
No, I don't. Well, not yet. I'm sure.
The angel that was like
I don't think we would know yet. But it was interesting because when they made that phone call, they were like, the guy on like the other end was like, "Oh God," or something, like it was an important person.
That's what I'm saying.
Hi, Mo.
Hello, just hopped on this book in the Crescent series. I'd love to read along.
Yeah, so we read through chapter 5.
Yes.
What do you want to do now?
Do you want me to look at the...
Yeah, pull up the Audible. Let's figure out what we're going to do for next week.
I don't want it to be too over...
I feel like we should do a little bit more than 5 chapters.
I would agree.
Because it's a 90-something chapter book. So
we got to get
we'd be doing this all year. So let's say...
We're at 6 now, so we could do 6 to like 15. Or is that way too much?
No, I think...
Because 7 is only 4 minutes long as a chapter, so that means it's shorter.
So what do you guys think? With chapter 15? Yeah, Kelsey says 5 to 15. That seems fine to me.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm good with that. I feel like we could get that done.
Yeah.
I listen to my Audible on double speed, so I get through things.
The thought of that blows my mind that you were listening to it on double speed.
I love it.
No wonder you were confused.
No, I wasn't confused. I just didn't understand certain parts because I
have to go back and listen to some parts. Like if I get distracted, because usually I listen while I'm doing something else.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll get like distracted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I really enjoy it though. I'm a fan so far of the book, I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel bad this life is a little bit boring.
Well, we're not that far into the book, so we really don't have much to talk about yet.
What do you think is, if you could make a prediction right now about where you see this going, what is your prediction? I think we should do this every week, make a prediction.
What is my prediction?
Yeah, and you guys can answer too.
I think, long-term predictions. I kind of already said this. But I think that guy that got out of jail, what was his name? I need to keep a list of characters up.
We should have a list next time about like every character.
Kelsey C says one of the pack ends up being the killer. That would be interesting. That would be interesting.
That would be
or at least in on it. You know what I mean? The thing that was crazy to me Like one of the members orchestrated it. Yeah,
that would be interesting.
The thing that was crazy to me is they built up Danica as like this superpower. Like they said she was like this generational talent. And then she got. You know
I almost
mean?
feel like it's Danica. Like I almost feel like Danica's not dead. I know that they claim that they saw her, but she was also on drugs when she found them. So I low key feel like Danica's not actually dead. And something's good. Because why would they spend so much time like hyping this up if it wasn't going to be that she, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know.
I could see that.
This one says, do you know about the Libby app? It's a free app through your library where you can rent audiobooks, ebooks. I will search down there. Oh, I have heard of that. That's really good. Kelsey said agreed.
Yeah. And Maeve said she hadn't gone through the drops, so she wasn't at full power. Also didn't have the sword.
That's true.
Yeah, that is true. I forgot that she didn't have the sword yet. Or didn't have it with her.
I low-key still feel like she is.
Yeah, it could
something's
be.
a part of this.
It could be. I think long term.
Also, sorry to be interrupted. Something with the tattoos. I feel like something's going to happen with that because I don't understand why they would mention recently getting those tattoos if they weren't going to like bring that up again.
I don't know. Could just be like Bond, so you understood.
But I think that the fake I don't think Danica's dead. I think fake Danica, who's not dead, isn't going to have that tattoo or something. There's going to be like a missing detail that brings this all together. I feel like something with the tattoo is important.
Maeve just brought up something. Well, she talked about the drop, and that's actually interesting because that's such a weird, not like weird bad, but it's such like a weird concept to put in there if it's not going to be important to the story somehow. You know what I mean? Maybe like the drop isn't what we think it is or something. Because why have that? You know, if it's not somehow important to the story.
Yeah.
So I feel like that the drop isn't gonna be what we think it is. Kelsey says nothing is ever mentioned just for the sake of it. A lot of things that end up being important later. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting too.
I would agree.
You know, because like there's a lot of things that they talked like. I foresee some sort of interaction with like the river, the ruler of like the river, because they had like a very intense blurb about her where they're like, yeah, she doesn't really show up often, blah, blah, blah. So I feel like, okay, you know, we're talking about it, so we're probably going to go there at some point.
I feel like with this book, if you are going to start reading along, it's important to pay attention to those little details because I think it is bringing to light things that are going to happen later on. Yeah. I feel good about that, though. You have anything else to add?
I see this. I got to write some notes next time while I'm reading because I feel like I had all these things to talk about and they're just gone out of my brain now. And all I can think about is I got to go catch some tarantulas in Animal Crossing.
We got to do active listening next time where we're like writing down everything.
Kelsey said, Hannah, congrats on the shout out from Manny and Shane.
Thank you. I was really excited about that. That was nuts. I gained like 600 Instagram followers after Shane shouted me out, which was nutty, but it was really cool. Just stopped to say hello. I watched later. My internet is messed up and I haven't gotten my chapter 4 caught up. Sometimes I like things being very important later, but sometimes it can be too predictable and there's just too much info. That's very true. Yeah. I think foreshadowing, there's like a fine line you have to walk.
My brain is wrecked just because I don't know if anybody in here has read any Sanderson. But Sanderson is like my favorite author. I've read all of his books. So my point of view on things, on literature, is so skewed by Sanderson because I'm always like, well, what? Like, there's something that like there's so many twists and turns in Sanderson books that my brain is always like overcomplicating things.
Did he write Skyward?
He did write Skyward, but that's.
I know it's more of his low key work, but
I keep telling Hannah she's got from
Minnesota.
Duluth, Minnesota.
Hi, Minnesota.
Hi.
That's fun. If you guys end up liking this book overall, check out Throne of Glass series. Okay. Yeah. I'm down.
Sure.
I think for the next book, we're going to do kind of a poll for you guys to see which one you guys would be more interested in. And yeah, I feel good about it though. Yeah. Next week we'll have some notes. I feel like next week more will have happened.
Yeah, we read 5 was too.
It was too little.
5 chapters would be longer than it was.
Yeah.
You know,
it
we
kind of flew by.
10, but good evening from Germany.
Oh wow.
How about some people tell us their favorite books? What are your favorite books? I'm curious to know what people like to read.
You're so fun.
Why?
It's just a fun question. The teacher and you jumped out. Wow. The icebreakers.
Sorry.
What's everyone's favorite book? What's your favorite book? Actually,
my favorite book or my favorite author? Because my favorite book is not by my favorite author.
Well, what's your favorite book?
Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. Yeah, it's really good.
You've told me that before.
Favorite author, probably Sanderson. And before Sanderson, weirdly enough, it was Bernard Cornwell, who I still really like his books. Percy Jackson, Divergent, Hunger Games, The Shadowhunter Chronicles. I've heard a bunch of people mention The Shadowhunter Chronicles. I got to read those.
I was a Hunger Games.
Hi from Croatia.
That is so cool. What do you guys think of the world building in the book?
I love it. Yeah. That's my favorite thing about books is like world building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my least favorite.
I love lore.
I
love interesting culture. A lot of times I care more about the world setting than I do the characters.
Yeah.
Mal says my top favorites are Harry Potter. Literally my life. Yeah. We've got so many Harry Potter books back here. I know. This is hard to do.
Well, these are special edition ones. Yeah. My sister actually got for Charles for Christmas one year.
Keeper of the Lost Cities and Divergent.
Divergent. It's okay, not to derail the conversation, but I've heard a few people say Divergent. Was anybody else just like super, super upset with the ending of Divergent? Or am I alone in that?
I haven't read those ones.
You know what? Don't. Because I loved it.
Albert Camus. Never heard of that. Sounds good. Oh, you know what? I have heard of that.
Have you?
Yeah. Raz was just talking about it.
What's
my buddy
about?
Raz. I don't know, but he was telling me I should read it.
All right.
I have a group chat in which we talk about books a lot.
Like Hannah, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Hannah, I went into a depression and cried for 2 weeks. Yeah, it was really not like that ending was.
I've only seen the movies, so I can't really talk
the movies were not good, I feel like. The first two were good. They were okay. But then the last one was like, in my opinion, was not a fan of the last movie at all. Because I feel like
last book or last movie?
Kind of both. The whole, not to spoil it for anybody, but it's been out for a long time. But it basically in the movie.
Pause for spoilers.
Oh, okay.
If you want spoilers, don't want spoilers, then dip out for like 5 minutes. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I feel like the premise of the movie was like, you tried to do this, and I'm just going to shoot you in the head, and you're like not even going to get to, you know what I mean? Like, it's like she's trying to save the world.
Oh, that's right. She dies at the end.
Yeah. And it's like, I get that she was trying to do something different than like the other, like dystopian. I get what she was trying to do, but I was just like, why? That's a horrible message to be at the end of the book. Is like, well, then she died.
My favorite books are The Land of Stories. That sounds super familiar.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I've read a series of books called The Land, but I don't think that's what you're talking about.
It was horrible. Also, the movie is really bad. Barely connections. I agree. Stories. Yes, the Divergent ending was spoiled for me after reading and loving the first books, then couldn't bring myself to finish the series. I will say there was a follow-up book called 4 that was like his little story. And that was okay, but it didn't make up for how shitty the ending was.
Yeah.
The ending was so bad.
First Divergent movie was also so disappointingly PG that I never watched the others.
I would agree with that.
I didn't watch the others either, and I'll tell you why. Well, weirdly, I feel like I saw the last one.
We
I'm
saw
like
it
a
together.
train or something.
We watched it together.
The first one, I was in college, and my roommate in college loved the Divergent books. Like those, he loved them. And we drove like back to like my hometown. It was like it's only like a 45 minutes from my college, but it was in like a huge blizzard where they were like, hey, don't get on the highway.
Yeah.
And we drove all the way there. We almost died like 3 times. And then we sat through the movie, and I was just sitting there like, wow, this is awful. But I didn't want to hurt my friend's feelings.
What friend was it?
It was Luke.
I knew it was Luke.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Luke.
And like, as we were in the car on the way back, I was like, so Luke, what'd you think of the movie? And he was like, it was terrible. Nothing like the books. Is like, oh, thank God you said that, because I hated it.
You know what's so funny though is this is bringing up like severe flashbacks to when I was a Hunger Games stan. Like not even just a fan, I was a Hunger Games stan.
Yeah.
When I went to Nepal, and I could literally only download 3 movies on my iPad to watch for the next 2 months, it was the Hunger Games movies. I downloaded all of the audiobooks to bring. There was a time when I could pick the Hunger Games audiobook, pick a random chapter and a random time, and the book would start, and I would know exactly where where we were and what was happening because I had listened to them and reread them so many times.
I read them all once, but I read them really quickly. Like I got the first book this is back when I was dating my ex-girlfriend. It was before I met Hannah.
Your what?
And she was away for something, and I knew I was going to have like a week to myself.
Yeah.
So I went and I bought, people were talking about the book because the movie was coming out soon. So I went and bought the first book, read the whole thing cover to cover without putting it down, and then immediately went to the Barnes & Noble and bought the other two. And I read all three of them back to back to back, only like sleeping like twice in between.
You hated the third book,
binge read them.
You hated the third book.
I didn't hate the third book. I hated
the
ending of the
I liked
book.
the ending. I thought the ending was good.
I hated the ending. I really feel like the ending of Hunger Games was like just specifically made to be edgy and not have a happy ending.
Sorry, go ahead.
And I'm the kind of guy who likes, I don't see anything wrong with a happy ending. Especially if you spend hours and hours reading a book, like you want a satisfying conclusion.
However, this is not about the Hunger Games. However, I'm turning it into about the Hunger Games because that wasn't the realities of war. Like the realities of war are not happy endings. They're not everybody ends up okay. The realities of war are that people die and it sucks.
But then make that happen during the course of the book, not
did.
at the very end.
It did.
Finnick dies in the last 5 chapters.
No.
Yes,
like
in
the
sewer.
The last 10.
And then they immediately come out of the sewer, and then, Gail's invention, because the author had a boner for PETA, and was like, we need to find a reason for her to pick PETA and not Gail. So he was like, guess what? It's raining bombs, and Gail made them for some reason. So fuck you, Primrose.
Gail was also a way better choice, I feel, for Katniss. Do you agree with that? I feel like Gail
PETA was not for me.
Wait, okay, let's see. We'll never recover from our King Finnick's death. I agree.
Right, for no reason.
Yeah.
Just go up the fucking ladder.
Not even that, though. Not even for no reason. But I also feel first of all, he couldn't. Second of all, I also feel
why couldn't he?
I feel like there wasn't enough time spent on Finnick. You know what I mean? Also, for you to act like people weren't dying throughout all 3 books is absurd. Children died.
Yeah, but they were main characters. You could tell who was going to die and who wasn't just by how much screen time they got or how much book time.
But still, even still, people were dying. And they said when they were going into the Capitol that it was going to be the Hunger Games.
Michaela, I'm with you. Michaela says, I love happy endings. The sad ones make me angry after dedicating my time to the book. I totally agree. I don't mind a bittersweet ending.
Yeah.
But if I spent hours reading a book, I just want a happy ending.
I don't sometimes.
I want things, because here's the thing. Chances are you're never going to see those characters again. So I just like having a happy resolution in my brain so that it's boom, I don't have to worry about that again. Otherwise I sit there and I'm like, man, how could that have gone differently? And then I end up making headcanons and weird shit.
But that's why I like it. I like when books end in a way that isn't satisfying. It's realistic.
Yeah. Did anyone? I feel like I've never met anyone who was like, yeah, PETA and Katniss, great together.
They also really, no offense, because I love Josh Hutcherson. I think he's great. He played PETA in the movie, but they did it kind of dirty by casting him as PETA. Really? I don't think he was a very good PETA.
I feel like PETA wasn't a very good PETA.
Speaking of, he's better in the books. Yeah, that's who they cast.
Who played Gale?
Liam Hemsworth.
Really?
Yeah. So they put Josh Hutcherson next to Liam fucking Hemsworth, and they were like, hey, Katniss, which one are you going to choose? And obviously everybody picked Liam Hemsworth.
I didn't realize that he was Gale.
Yeah, he was fucking Gale. 10 feet tall, super jacked, and then you have poor Josh Hutcherson, who's adorable. Josh Hutcherson is so sweet, but it was just an unfair casting, I feel like. Speaking of the Hunger Games.
Kelsey was here for Katniss and PETA. Okay.
There we go. She said, don't slander them, Charles. Speaking of the Hunger Games, thoughts on the upcoming prequel and the infamous cover. Did you hear about that? There's going to be a prequel?
No, I'm over my Hunger Games phase now. I'll probably read it.
I'll read it for sure. I don't know if I'm going to be hype about it, but I'll definitely read it.
I've got a lot of other books that I'm hyped for. Sanderson's got some good books coming out soon. The Officially Advanced Magic sequel's coming out soon.
I'm so hyped about that. I will say I think there is enough backstory to the Hunger Games that it will be very interesting, because that was 74. The first book was the 74th Hunger Games. So I feel like it's going to be really, really interesting to see how things I don't know a ton about it, but I feel like prequels
I'm kind of hit or miss on prequels.
I would agree.
Usually miss, because I feel like if you're writing a book, you are starting at the point in the timeline where things get interesting. If something that happened before was interesting, you would start there with your first story. You know what I mean? So I feel like now going back, they have to make things up. And we know that the ending's not going to be as satisfactory because we know it's going to end this way because this is how
I guess that's true. Kelsey said, I would rather see a Haymitch prequel rather than a President. That would be interesting. That would be so good.
That I would be interested in. I didn't realize it was about President Snow. Was it about President Snow?
I think so. Which series do you guys recommend him out of books? This is a heavy question.
Mal, you got to tell me what kind of books you like because I will recommend. I have a lot of recommendations, but I don't want to recommend you something that.
However, I will say right off the bat, I would say Skyward series is the one I recommend to everyone because I think it's it's like a book that I think universally people will really like because it's sci-fi, but it isn't too sci-fi and it's easy to follow. It has a really great story.
It's sci-fi in the same way that Star Wars is. So
it's
fantasy,
digestible.
Realistic fiction, mystery fiction. Oh, Mal, I got you.
Yeah, this is his category.
So if you haven't read the Patrick Rothfuss books, the King Killer Chronicles, I think is what the Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, and then the sequel to that is The Wise Man's Fear. Those are both very good. Also, if you like heavy fantasy, read some Sanderson because this is so unique to me. I love this, is that Sanderson had all his books, the majority of them are in the same universe. So he has different self-contained stories. But if you read, the more of his series you read, the better an experience you get. Because the characters, there's this story behind the story that happens. And you'll recognize, be like, wait a minute, that character was from this other book. How the hell did they get here in this completely different dimension? Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I just think that's a pretty unique thing.
I agree with that. Frankie said, I know this is kind of off topic, but do you guys enjoy true crime books? I love them. He does not. I love
Unfortunately, I pretty much only read fantasy books.
I would say he has better taste in books, but
within the genre, though.
Within the genre. But I have a broader range of books that I like. I'll read autobiographies. I love history books. I love fiction. I love a lot of different books, and true crime is a genre that I love so much.
I like watching true crime stuff, but I when I'm reading is kind of, I don't know. I'm funny about reading.
I also love books that are, I don't know if this makes sense and I don't know what the genre would be called, but it's books that are also documentaries. I loved my most recent one that I read was called, well, I don't know. It's the most recent one I read was called Bad Blood, and it was about Theranos, which I think you heard me. Yeah. I obsessed over that for a while, the whole Theranos thing. But I love things that talk about scandals that happened or crazy things that went on in the world. I love books that do deep dives into that.
I agree with Mag B. Mag B just said, I just brought dinner home to my family, but I have to chime in on the Hunger Games. I was so disappointed with the end of the third book. It felt super rushed. That was my biggest problem with it too. Yeah. Is not so much that the people died at the end. It's just, it was bam, bam, bam. Do that over the course of the 3 books. I don't know.
I would agree with that. Hannah, you should check out Crime Junkie podcast. Okay. Don't gotta tell me twice. I love podcasts too.
Yeah.
I like listening to things. I feel like that's my big thing.
I used to be way more into podcasts when I had more time. Now I just
You have time right now. You have nothing but time.
But you know what my problem is? I just
also we have a podcast, so maybe
my hair. I need a haircut so bad.
I know you can't get one for a while. Spot. I know. We just got to make it to the wedding with your hair, and then I'll be happy.
As soon as the wedding's done, I'm shaving.
I told him, I was second we get on the honeymoon, you can shave your head. I don't care. Yeah. But yeah, I feel like this went well. I'm very proud of.
Yeah. Hopefully next time we'll have more to talk about in the book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you read Catch and Kill, Hannah? The book about the Weinstein cover-up.
No.
Now she's.
What's it called? Catch and Kill?
Yeah.
I won't have this book done because I'll binge listen to it. I love stuff like that. Investigative type stuff is my absolute favorite type of thing to read and listen to. I don't follow a lot of channels, but I watch a lot of channels where they do deep dives. The one I watched this morning was about the 2008 housing crash, the market crash. And it was so interesting. It was like it was 45-minute long YouTube video, and it was so interesting. Like, I love hearing about stuff like that.
Catch and Kill just showed up in my Libby. Totally gonna read it.
I'm about it.
So how about, here's another good question. What books are you guys reading right now that aren't this part of this book?
Also, we have 10 minutes because I gotta.
That was quick.
I know, it flew by. I feel like we can see it right up there.
Oh.
But, yeah. Just because I have a video going live at 6, so I don't want to have like competing things happening.
All 30 viewers.
Everyone counts.
I lost my train of thought. Oh, what books are you guys reading right now? Jane Eyre, Pride and Prejudice. Ooh. You're reading that right now? I had to read that in high school.
I've still never
I should reread it just because I didn't appreciate it in high school.
I've never read
Silent Patient.
Oh,
never heard of that either. What are you reading right now? Nothing other than this, right?
No, I was reading, let me look at the Kindle. I forget what it was called.
Oh.
What?
Well, there you go. Mel says that they're in middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what though? It's good that you are taking the time to appreciate books while you're younger, while you're in middle school. Because when I was in middle school, all I wanted to do was play World of Warcraft and dick around with my friends. And I really missed out on a lot of like good books that I had to catch up on later. Kelsey C said, you should read any of Cassandra Clare's books. Just finished your most recent one. I don't know who that is, but it sounds interesting. Stranger in the Woods.
I think, is that a movie? Was that a movie a while back?
I don't know.
The Hot Zone. It goes in depth about the Ebola outbreak.
Wayward Son.
Oh my God. You guys are giving me so many good recommendations.
This is a super specific niche book, but my brother's coworker recommended it to him. And then my brother recommended it to me because he knew I liked Bernard Cornwell. It's called the Clash of Eagles trilogy. I had to look up the name, but it's by Alan Smale. I'm on the 3rd book right now. It's pretty good. It's about like, it's an alternate history book, which I've discovered now that I really like because I really liked this.
I love those.
But it's an alternate history book where the Roman Empire didn't fall and just grew and grew and grew. And then they discovered, well, they don't call it North like America. They call it Nova Hesperia, but they discovered the Native Americans, but like 200 years after it actually happened. So the book takes place like later, but the technology level is lower. Like it's in an alternate history.
Why didn't you tell me about
Well, I'm just finishing it
that
now.
Sounds
They're pretty good.
I love alternate history stuff. I think it can be, but it also can be really bad, but I think it can be really good.
Currently reading The Witcher. Super great if you like twisted fairy tales. Well, I've played all the Witcher games, watched the series. The books are on my list. One of my best friends just read it and was like repeatedly telling me, you got to read these. You got to read these. They're so good. So that's on my list.
Mel said, do you recommend reading The Lord of the Rings? I'm wondering if I should ask for it for my birthday. I think if you like fantasy, those are like classics.
But here's the thing that you got to be aware of is the language. It's in a really outdated writing style.
Yeah, I would
agree.
So
it's very high fantasy, epic, and it's like if you like books that use more modern language, you might maybe stick to the movies. I don't know. I read them. They were okay. But honestly, I feel like the books are a little bit better than I didn't like the Hobbit books as much as I did the Hobbit book as much as the movies. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's really, if you like high fantasy with like elevated language and like a little bit more denser, then you'll like it. What was the name of the Roman history book? So the trilogy is called The Clash of Eagles, and the first book is called The Clash of Eagles. The second one is Eagles in Exile, and the third one that I'm reading right now is Eagle and Empire. So
one thing I was going to add before we go is somebody suggested doing somewhat of a like media review. So like watching a TV show or watching a movie and then giving our opinion on it.
We could do that too.
And I thought maybe while we have the time right now at home, we could do it as like bonus episodes every week of like doing like
on
media,
the channel, like live or like bonus episodes?
Like bonus episodes. And I don't know if that's something you guys would be interested in, but I think it would be, we have the time right now to be putting out more content. And I think to get this channel kind of going.
Hannah's still filming, but
I'm still working.
Schools are closed. We both work in schools, and our schools are closed till at least April 17th.
No, 14th.
14th.
Probably longer though. But I think it to maybe spice up like what we're doing and put out more content and kind of I think the hardest part about doing a podcast is it's only once a week right now. So I think to get everything up and going, we could do reactions to like Black Mirror episodes.
We already watched them all though.
Yeah, but we could still do reactions. Or like Ozark just can't like.
Okay, let me just interrupt you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Before we forget, because we've only got 5 minutes left. Anna said, what chapters are we covering next week? I didn't catch it. So we're going to read chapters 5 through 15. So we'll stop when you hear when you read chapter 16. That's stop.
Yeah. And I'll put that in the description box too. I'm going to post this live to the channel. So if anybody missed it, but what shows are you thinking? Like we just did The Lion King or Tiger King.
The Lion King.
Sorry. We just did the Tiger King.
Tiger King was a wild ride.
I feel like we could do a video about that. And like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I just feel like that would be really cool.
Wait, I just got here. What book? Which book? So it's, what is it called? It's the Crescent City series.
There we go.
And it's the House of Earth and Blood.
Yes.
And we're reading we already read through chapter 5. There's a big cliffhanger right at the end of chapter 5.
And we'll go.
So we're going to go from 5 to 15.
And I think that'll give us more substance to talk about. Although we filled up this pot.
I'm so sorry, guys.
You're balanced very precariously right now. So we apologize for that. But people are saying, yes, please. Tiger King was a ride. Yeah, I think it'd be cool to do like a little bit of a media review.
This was fun. Yeah. I liked this.
I really enjoyed it. I'm actually glad it was a little bit smaller because I felt like we actually just talk about books, which I love talking about. So I feel like this was a lot of fun. But all right.
Yeah,
we did pretty good on our time, but thank you.
In 5 minutes, a new video is going up on Smoky Glow, aka Hannah's main channel.
Run on over.
What's it about, Hannah?
It's a well, funny you asked, Charles. It's actually a declutter video of my blushes and highlighters, so you can see that.
Okay, love declutter videos. If it was up to me, there'd be a declutter video every week. We actually have to declutter our shelf here.
I don't know if you can see how bad it's got.
This is my board games and my books that I own.
My books are over there.
And like all of these board games and Warhammer pieces and stuff don't fit in the shelf anymore.
You know what's so funny though is I'm like, Charles, like he's always like, Hannah, you have to declutter. You don't need all this makeup. You don't need all these things. And then I go, okay, Charles, let's declutter your board games. And he goes, absolutely none of my board games can leave this house. Every single one of them is a priority.
I just put a whole bunch of them in the attic.
However, in the attic. However, he doesn't play them half the time. But anyway.
I just play copies that other people own in the same game at their house.
So they get a lot of use. Thanks for the fun talk, guys. Good job, guys. Thank you guys, everyone who participated, everyone who hung out with us. We really appreciate it.
This is fun.
I think I'm excited for next Saturday when we're like more into the book and we can really dive into it. But I think I also will always rant about the Hunger Games, the Divergent series. So
we should do, I just got an idea for the video. I don't want to spoil it. Or should I say?
Do you want to spoil it for the people that are here?
Yeah, we should do. We got to finish Howl's Moving Castle because
we should do a reaction to Howl's Moving Castle.
Well, I've seen it a million times.
I haven't. It's my first time watching it. All right, I'm down. I've been writing down everyone's suggestions and sending excerpts on my channel. This was fun talk. Will the live streaming always be 5 p.m. EST on Saturdays? As far as we can tell.
We'll let you know if it's not. See, it's weird because we're kind of on like a pretty strict schedule right now, but it's different than our normal schedule because we're in quarantine.
We have time.
So for now, it will be. When quarantine stops, we might have to rearrange stuff. But for now, it's going to be 5 p.m. Eastern on Saturdays.
But all right. Thanks for everyone who's here. Go check out my new video. It'll be live in like 2 minutes.
Also, if you haven't seen the newest podcast episode,
go check it out.
We got it up a little late last night. So
I'm really proud of that one, though. I think we listened to a lot of critiques that not even critiques, just like suggestions that people gave us.
I was listening back to it and I was like, man, I ramble so much.
No, I liked it. I feel everybody really liked your like things that you said. So I think everyone really appreciated it. All right. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
See you later.